Fired up. All right, looks like we should be live here. So go ahead here and let some people roll in. Let's see who we've got. Got Mr. B's in here. Thank you for sharing it out. Candy's here. Dan Slee is here. So welcome. Daryl Deemer's here. The reefing, is it Ricken or Riken is here. Anthony's Fishy Friends is here. And let me go ahead here and make sure I didn't miss anybody. Alright. So, got 8 folks here. We'll give it a minute or two. And then we'll go ahead here and we'll get started. Quite a bit to cover. So, 44 Magi 1 is here. So, welcome. Pam is here from 54 Punchy, as well as Keith Bordley. So, go ahead here, and I think we'll give it another minute or two. So, what have you guys been up to this week? You guys enjoy the weekend? This weekend for us was quite nice. So, got to work on the fish barn, like you guys saw in Saturday or Sunday's video. And from there, there's another project I'm working on too. It's mostly for my daughter, but there may be a summer tub aspect to it that'll be coming up as well. Hello, Tony Sewell from the UK. For those of you, a lot of you probably don't know, but I did live in the UK for about 6 months after college. So I did live in London, and I lived in something called a council estate, which was the best way I can attribute it is the British version of the projects. But I lived in, it was strange because it was in Chelsea, which is like one of the highest end areas of London. So it was a little strange, but it was it. I really enjoyed my time in London. Obviously didn't want to go home, but the Queen's kind of said your 6 months is up and you've got to get back on the road. So that's what I did. Legacy Aquatics is here. Hey, how's it going? Why was I there? All right, so Candy, I was there on a. There's a program when I went to college. It was called BUNAC. It was like the British University's North American Club. And basically, they gave you a 6-month work visa that you could just go over there and basically you had to find your own job and everything. So I showed up in London with about $1,400 in a suitcase and somehow made it work. So actually, it was pretty interesting. I ended up doing an internship at Merrill Lynch in the credit department. So I basically did like some real basic Excel reporting and stuff like that. So, but I worked in the right behind Buckingham Palace. So, I was between it was Victoria and Hyde Park, I think it was. But it's been a long time. It was '98 when I was over there. So, had a lot of fun though. So. I made a point when I was there to kind of not hang out with Americans. So one of my best friends was Scottish, which he was a pretty entertaining dude. We had a lot of fun. Let's leave it at that. Someday I'll pull some pictures up maybe, and they're like old school pictures, like in photo albums. So I'll have to scan some of them and show them to you guys. But so we got a good number of folks here now. So let's go ahead and we're gonna talk a little bit about the Marine Breeding Initiative workshop. So let me go make sure I have all the proper screens up before we get started. And I'm gonna put the link in here. the link in there. So I've talked about this before on the stream, but this is something that I am involved with, is the MBI workshop. So it's going to be, I shall pull up this one first. So it's going to be, hold on, I have something blocking my screen. All right, it's going to be July 26th through 28th at the Cranbrook Institute of Science in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. So it's the 10th year anniversary. So we've been doing this for 10 years. And I'm going to show you a little bit kind of about the past speakers. So if you are in the anywhere near the Metro Detroit area, or kind of within driving distance or flying distance if you so choose, I highly recommend this conference. It's a really neat event. You get to meet a lot of really cool people. So stuff that you kind of wouldn't see at your normal show because it's a lot smaller event. So it's not like an aquatic experience or an aquashella where you've got, we usually get about 50 people. But it is pretty cutting edge stuff. So let me kind of walk through real quick here. The speakers have not been announced for this year yet. So that's to come. And when they do, I will give you a little bit more about the speakers. But let's go ahead here and I'll walk you through kind of the schedule. So basically, we do get a hotel. It's right down the road from the event, so it's not in the event's not in the hotel, but it is pretty close. So it is the at the Marriott, which is right by the hotel, and then there's a evening reception. So you basically go down to the bar area, get to basically kind of interact, mingle, network with all the people that are there. One of the funny stories from this event, 3 years ago, I think it was, they had the Viper convention the same weekend. They were all staying in that hotel. So you drive into the parking lot, and the whole parking lot is full of Dodge Vipers. So walk in, huge Vipers everywhere, and huge, like the whole lot was just Vipers from as far as the eye could see. So we walk in, and it's like, you fish geeks can go over here in the corner and hang out kind of in the corner. The Viper guys got the main bar, kind of what you expect, right? And they were auctioning off a Viper while we were there, but couldn't. They wouldn't let us put in for the raffle. So kind of a funny story about the actual event itself. Check-in is at 9 a.m. There's speakers. And the last part, because I don't want to put the guy's address on the internet, the gentleman who hosts it actually has a barbecue at his place on Sunday after the event. It's pretty good stuff. So, hey, Lumpy Dog, how's it going? So, pretty neat event to go check out. Even if you're a freshwater hobbyist, some of the stuff here is just really neat to see. And you're talking to the people who've done it, right? You're not talking to, you're not talking to, the guy's boss or whoever. You're like talking to the actual person who did the work that bred it. So let me go ahead here, and we'll kind of walk through some of the past speakers, and I'll tell you a little bit about these people. And it's kind of a little bit of a, hey Ken, Emmy, how's it going? Has a little bit of a advertisement or so to go. So let me get the scene up here. Oh, I realized I was in the wrong thing. Sorry about that, guys. So the past speakers here. So he doesn't have the names on here, but I can tell you who some of these people are. Her name is Monica. She was at an aquarium in New England. I don't remember what she spoke about. She may have been damselfish. It's been two. I don't remember all of them. This is Todd Gardner. He's done quite a few different things. One of the things he did breed was the grandma Dijongai, and I'm sure I pronounced that wrong, but I will show you a picture of one. And they're super rare. Like they're like so. That's what it looks like. It's like a Royal Grama, but it is very expensive. So like the Royal Grama is like down here. So that's the Royal Grama. That's the Grama de Jongai. And he was the first person to breed this. So he got to tell us about that. So something pretty cool to see, someone who's bred that. There's some other people here too as well. Let me go back here. So this guy's Dr. Andrew Ryan. He is he's a professor at Roger Williams University. This is Erin Piera. She was involved in breeding the yellow tangs in Hawaii. So her talk was giving the information how they bred the yellow tangs. This is Kathy Leahy. She's one of the hobbyist breeders who has done something very similar with angelfish, the Coral Beauty angelfish. This is the gentleman that puts it on. His name is Tal Sweet. This guy is Chad Callan. Is that Chad? No. Hold on a minute. Drawing a blank who this gentleman is. Sorry, but this is Dr. Kevin Barton. And then this gentleman, I think this gentleman's Chad Callan. Sorry. Let me hold on. Drawing a blank live. Sorry about that, guys. I think it was Chad. Hold on. I'll go back to that in just a minute. So he works for Reed Mariculture. And then that's Chad Callan, sorry. That's Chad Callan, I'm drawing a blank. Got some more people here. This is Dr. Kevin Barton again. This is Tal, the guy who puts it on. This is the same. God, I'm like getting tired. I just said his name. God, I'm losing it. This is Ramon Villaverde, and this is Noel Heinsohn. He was working at the Long Island Aquarium. So this is Dr. Roy Yanong. I'm getting these people all wrong. I'm sorry. No, this is Agilin Ho. Sorry. This is Dr. Roy Yanong. He's at the Florida Aquaculture Lab. And then this is Matt Pedersen, who's done quite a few different things. He's I believe he's the editor right now of Amazonas. He's the first person to ever breed the orange spot filefish, and numerous other things. So keep going through here. Some of the same people again. This is Matt Carberry, who's bred the he's done some angelfish breeding with his company, Sustainable Aquatics, but he is the founder of Sustainable Aquatics. If you guys are ever bored, look that up. So, and then there's a few other people. As we go through the years here, some of the faces are the same. This gentleman here is pretty important too. This is Dr. Matt Wittenrich. He was kind of the author, and let me see if I have his book. Sorry, I'm geeking out a little bit on the saltwater stuff for a minute. I'll get back to some other stuff here. So this is, he wrote this book. This is kind of, I'll call this book the Bible of marine fish breeding. So, alright. Alright, so now let's get to some of the other stuff. So I did the ad for the MBI workshop. If you guys are in Michigan, definitely come check it out. So, let's talk a little bit now, kind of about the fish barn and what's going on there. So we'll go ahead and put that. All right, so this is the part that you guys didn't see on the video on Sunday. So I built this after the fact. So this is the door here. Over here is the rest of the stuff. But I resealed this 90-gallon tank. This will be 20-gallon highs up here. And then this is the way to the upstairs. So we're going to hopefully finish some of that out this week. Not going to build it up. Not going to have water in it yet. That's going to be a little bit longer going out, but everything's going good from there. Let's go to the next slide. All right, I want to talk a little bit about kind of what's been happening on the saltwater side, which are the losses on the fish tanks. So right now, downstairs there are only 2 saltwater fish. So I don't know what exactly happened, but kind of had a bit of a die-off. And it's kind of interesting. It's been a weird die-off too, because the things that are living right now are just the 2 butterfly fish. So don't know what's went on with it. Gotta go do some evaluation. I don't know if I had like a nitrogen spike. Candy and I had talked about that before, where kind of when saltwater fish die, sometimes they kind of fade into the ether, and you don't necessarily know what happened to them. So don't know on this one. This is we'll figure it out. We'll move forward with it. I may make some changes onto where fish go. I've been doing a little bit of that already. If you can see, I'll flip the screen back for just a second. Here to, yep. So if you can see behind me, there are basically no more cichlids living in here. There are the mud guppy tank without any decorations is in here right now. So that's what's been going on in here. We're gonna get some aquascaping done in here soon enough, but that's what's been going on here with the mud guppies. So there's gonna be some movement going on for sure. All right, so let's go ahead here now, and we'll flip to the next slide right there. All right, so some more decisions going to be made too. The 120 obviously now has no fish in it. The 2 butterfly fish are in the other tank, and then this 150, the South American tank. I am debating switching what tank they're in. Either getting them a new tank, building them a tank, doing a multitude of different things. So, like, if we go back 1 second to the 245, this tank's about 10 years old, and I've been tempted, and I don't know if I'll do it. Let me go back to the right scene, guys. Sorry. So this tank's about 10 years old, and really tempted here to really maybe even take it apart and actually build 2 plywood tanks out of it, but not sure yet. So that's kind of what's going on with this part of the fish room. We've got the wires up here. That's just a mess. So I want to do a lot of what I did in the other side of the room. So let's go back 2 slides now. Back here. Alright, so I think that's actually it. Yep. Alright. So that's where we're at with the fish barn update. The fish losses, unfortunately, we did have one other loss too. So whatever reason, I had a pretty decent colony going, or at least the start of one of a bunch of koi guppies, and those kind of fell apart too. So I don't know if it was the lack of auto water change. Maybe somehow an ammonia spike came through. I'm not really sure. So got a couple mystery deaths going on here. So like I said, you kind of move forward, figure it out, and go from there. So, but we are going to make some changes in here. Definitely some more rearrangement to come. I don't know yet when I'll start that. I do have some work to do. There's been some have kind of a duckweed, call it plague as well. Got to take care of that. So that's really all I've got in terms of the updates and stuff. Do you guys have any questions for me? You can ask me anything. Monica is asking, do I have heat in here? Yes, I do. I do have a 150, or I think it's a 5,000 watt heater It's called a Fahrenheit FUH54. So there is a heater in here. I did run a little, inadvertently ran a little experiment the other night. Did get down into the 30s, but the day was kind of warm, so I actually turned the heater off and forgot to turn it back on. So got down into the 30s at night, and everything seemed to be pretty good. So everything with the insulation and everything, it turned out pretty good. So yeah, Monica, welcome as well to the stream. We do have heat in here, so really looking forward to that. So let's think about some other things here. So is this actually a barn? Yeah, I would say. Here's what I mean. We call it the barn. It was called the barn before. It was called the barn before there was fish in here. So let me go ahead here and see if I can dig up a picture for you. So I'm gonna just give me one moment here. All right, let's see. Hold on, let me see what we got. Let me see if I've got any barn shots that are close for you. Have any exterior barn shots that are available? Yep, I do. Alright. Alright, we're going to do picture editing on the fly. Alright. Alright, so that's the outside of the building. I call that kind of barn-like, at least. It's not the red, sliding opening doors. So I would say it's barn. I'd say it's pretty much barn. So I don't know. You guys can we can debate it, I guess. I mean, is it really a barn? I kind of would say with the shape of the roof, it's a barn. It has the barn shape to it. But that's kind of up to the imagination, I guess. So the story with the building itself, we're actually in the building right now as we speak. Basically, this used to be the garage to the house. So at one point, this house was built in the mid-50s. So basically, it was the old garage. And what happened is when they built the new garage, they took this garage, instead of tearing it down, they moved it to the back of the property. So it's now sitting on, I don't know, obviously it's probably a new pad that they put down for it. But it's sitting here on the property in the back instead of tearing it down. So Turbo Fish is here. He's driving to work, so he's doing the third shift grind these days. So drive safe. So this is a barn for sure. But yeah, it's kind of a modern looking barn. But yeah, it was kind of funny. They there's a lot of these around our neighborhood too. So if you drive through the street that's right directly that way, Monica, I am located in Metro Detroit. So I am basically northern suburbs of Metro Detroit. So Jimmy's here. Welcome, Jimmy, but it's not red. No, it's not. That's true. It is true. Still a little cold to paint. Candy, but I probably could. Um, so, um, but yeah, it's definitely the one. Jimmy is moving to Ohio, so he's a lot closer, so he can come help paint it red if he wants, I guess. He can film it and paint it. That's funny. I actually did, Jimmy. I did actually think about painting it red at one point. Kind of tempted to, but I kind of was like, well, I'll paint it red, and then I was kind of like, oh no, you don't want me to paint it. Um, I'm a fast painter. I am not exactly a messy painter or a clean painter. Um, so my wife and I can't paint together because she's um, very thorough, and I'm like, give me the stuff, let's paint and let's knock it out. But this is actually pretty easy to paint, so it's all good. So yeah, the barn's good. I could be. I wish we had something in Michigan like they do in Ohio. Ohio, they have, I think they're like bicentennial barns, where like if you're driving along, I think each county has one, and there's an actual like painted on. I don't know if it's a sticker. I mean, it's a big, it'd be like this size here, like basically like painted on Ohio barn thing. Yeah, see, my wife's the same way, Candy. Yeah, I'm just a master. Like, I'm literally like, and then I'm like a dervish, and then I clean it up afterwards. Like, her and I it just doesn't work. So, it is what it is, I guess. So, do you guys have any other questions? That was a good question about the barn. So, definitely. So, Monica is in Vancouver. So, never been to that part of the world. So, I had designs on going to the AGA, and then I was a not smart human being and decided to like not get a ticket till the last minute, and then they sold out, and it was like, oops. And Seattle's a little far to drive in the dad van, so yeah, like yeah. I think Jimmy, I think it's kind of late to get a ticket now from Detroit, and it's Petsatics is here. How's it going? It's a little far for the dad van. So from basically from where I'm at to, am I building a pond in there? That thought, Legacy Aquatics, has crossed my mind numerous times, and it just doesn't fit. I've had some thoughts of it, and then I always abandon it. I mean, when I first like set up the building and it was like an open space, without any tanks in it, my mind went to 800 different places, right? So if we go through this, let me go back here for a second. So I'll go more back up here. I killed that picture. But like I thought about making like an 8-foot long tank or something, right? Like I was making this monster tank in the middle of the room and doing all of that. I have played around. This is a plywood tank here, and so is this one. I've thought about doing a couple things with this tank right here. This glass is really bad on this tank, so I've thought about replacing it. And then, but not sure yet. Not really sure what the plan. I have to think about the plans on this one. So, but yeah, this one, the story actually is kind of a sad story on how I ended up with the glass um, for this tank, and I really wanted to keep it because of the way the tank I actually got from someone I worked with, and her husband ran like an adventure shop somewhere here in Metro Detroit. I don't know where it was, and he went on a fishing trip with his dad, like way up north in Canada, like none of like Northwest Territory, like way up north, and um, apparently all they found was the boat and not them. So. Fortunately, and then she had this tank and she just gave it to me. It was part of a 220. Unfortunately, I had some live rock crash into it and busted some of it up, but um, that was a long time ago. But now it's built into that tank. Pundamilia, I think I do have a holding female AJ, at least one or two. I might do like a mini pond. I am building my daughter a garden, and it's a fence. It's like almost like it's a pretty intense thing actually. It's like a 12 by 12 space, and so in the back of it, I might put a couple of totes back there, do some summer tubbing things. But putting a pond in the yard like this year is like a big pond. It's not in the cards. I don't know if I will ever do that. The yard in the summer gets a lot of action in it. So we have a like an above ground pool, one of the Walmart above ground pools that I set up for the kids. So we have that out here. We have the trampoline. We're gonna have the garden space now. I mean, it's like there's a swing set. It turns into kind of a carnival in the backyard. So I don't know if there's really room for a pond until the kids either grow out of the trampoline or I think something's got to give. There's a fire pit back here, the barn's back here. I mean, there's quite a bit going on back here. So John Gonzalez is watching the Bruins trying to win. Good luck. I miss playoff hockey ever since the Red Wings, excuse me, went downhill. They, it's really, I really miss the playoff hockey. Those games are extremely entertaining. Really get. I used to play ice hockey back in the day, but don't anymore. I mean, one of those things. It's one of those things where you don't want to go like play hockey at like 1 o'clock in the morning and then go get up and go to work. So that's something that unfortunately days gone by. If I could play at 7 o'clock, maybe I'd do it, but not. Haven't played in a long time, but really, I really do miss the playoff hockey. I have the Red Wings playing, but. They were good they made the playoffs for like 25 straight years, and then they're like not very good now. So, all right. Oh, so John Gonzalez went to college. Okay, that's cool. I think I mean. That's pretty cool. I've not gone to. Yeah. Yeah. Here, let me see if I can pull up a hockey picture for you guys. Just give me a minute. It's gonna take me a minute. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Do any other guys have any cool stories of you went to college with someone famous or done anything like that? While I'm looking this up, it's gonna take me a minute. and I'll keep talking while I look that up. Um, I I've been actually like working on a video for quite a while now that I want to. It's gonna come out on Sunday, more than likely. So I'm gonna see. I'm going to save it, what it is until Sunday, but watch it on Sunday because it's some pretty cool stuff for sure. Something it'll, benefit all of us in the aquarium hobby. So that's all I'm going to say for now. But it's a pretty good friend of mine from the saltwater side of the world. Let's see, where's that picture? There it is, right there. There's a couple. I had some better ones than that. Sorry, I'm going to pull it up. Guess not. So I guess there's a really cool one that I have, hockey picture wise, but I don't have it apparently on this part of the phone. So, all right, let me do this. Save photo. And what we're going to do. It's all right. All right, we're going to do a little. Flip you guys to me for just a minute. Pull this out. And so, you guys getting any cool new fish either this weekend or coming up? So I did get the Santa Maria Endlers from Dan's Fish, and they're doing great. So. Really looking forward to seeing how the fry turn out. So let's go ahead here. I'm almost ready here. Let me just do this. Throw a picture down. Alright, I'm going to flip you guys back here. So, alright, so, old picture, but I'm right here. So, oops. So I went to the University of Michigan. I was in an organization called the Evans Scholars Program. So it's basically for golf caddies. They gave you a full ride scholarship, and they do it to Michigan State and Michigan, as well as to a bunch of other universities as well. And so I'd play hockey, and they always had a once-a-year hockey game, and it was full checking, full on. A bunch of guys who really couldn't skate that well. So it was kind of entertaining, I guess. In the end, it was kind of like an I am hockey game with full checking. Somebody got into a fight every year, one of those kind of things. But that was one of the Michigan State games. My dad took that picture, and actually, it's probably the sign of one of my highest sports moments as well. The last game I played in my senior year, I had a goal and an assist scored on my last shift of my final game to tie the game up at 3-3. Fortunately, we lost in a shootout, but it was a really great game. It was a lot of fun. So I really enjoyed my days playing hockey. But so that's the old Evan Scholars hockey photo. So, yeah, and that's actually where the original name for the channel came from, the MHOW 9. So my number in hockey was 9. So when I went as so that kind of was MHOW my name, and then the number 9. So should I do a freshwater puffer tank or get my first saltwater tank? That's really up to you. Depends what you want to do. I mean, you could do both and get a freshwater or a saltwater puffer, like like a dog face or something like that. Would you want, John? Would you want to do fish only or something else, like do like a reef tank or like a puffer tank? I mean, you can almost have a predator. A lot of people don't talk about it, but you could have like the predator saltwater tank with triggerfish and that kind of stuff in it too. So, fish only, no coral. Okay. So you could kill 2 birds in 1 stone and do the saltwater puffer. So I'm kind of throwing some ideas around in my head about where to take the saltwater stuff. Thought maybe doing a reef tank again. It's been a while since I've done that. I still have all the equipment for it, so I could do it. 29 gallons is a little small for a the big saltwater puffers. Oddball Aquatics is here. How's it going? So let me flip away from the hockey picture for a minute. So we're back up to here. So yeah, 29 gallons. You don't want to do the. Are you looking like at pea puffers, John? Hey Haley, you're on a work break. So tell Lucas I said hi. Hope you guys got some rest, because I was watching some of your video, and you were definitely you guys were tired. You guys had a long weekend. So 2 swaps in 1 weekend, one in Chicago. Congo puffer, I think you could do. JH is here. How's it going? How's it going, Joseph? But yeah, that's a lot of traveling for 1 weekend. So hope you guys get some rest. Congo puffer, I think you can do those in 29. So, so Candy's getting some stuff from Lucas. Got some stuff from Lucas here as well. Got some plants. Need to get some fish. I still got no sleep. Go home at 5:30 this morning and then back to work at 2. And it's an hour drive. Yeah, that's coming on. Yep, that's rough. That's tough. So Candy's got plants and fish, so that's all that matters. Yep, for sure. Yeah, I don't have any wild endlers or guppies. I do have some wild gadiids, but I do not have anything kind of like wild. So JH is doing some water changes and stuff. It's what I do a lot during streams. So if you guys see me in a stream and I don't respond for whatever reason, it's not because I'm ignoring you. It's probably because I kind of said hi and then went off and did something, or the kids needed something, or numerous other things that can go on. So But yeah, I do a lot of listening, water changing, other work, building racks, and whatever else I can get into in here. So I do want to go collecting now after seeing like Corey's video. Um, yeah, so Haley did 30. Um, yeah, actually, I do have this. I was gonna say, I do have this on the auto water change, which I'll have to show you guys. Let me see if I can pull it up now since we're here. Someday I will do like a dedicated video on the Neptune Apex. I've shown you guys this before, but let me go ahead here. I don't want you guys to see any of my login stuff, so I'm gonna log in and I'll share the screen with you guys. So, all right, let's go ahead here. I'll show you the Apex again. So this is the Neptune Apex. So basically, what this does is you can control various outlets. Hey Cichlids 23. Lumpy Dog's floor is uneven. Yeah, I do know a little bit about that. The fish barn is extremely uneven. So I do have to do some leveling work, especially if I go, like front to back, I'm okay. But if I go across this way, it gets a little sideways. So this is the Neptune Apex. So what this does, so this is the temperature right now of the discus tank. You can even hook pH probes up to this. I don't know where this pH is pulling from. I guess it's pulling off of the air, because I don't have a pH probe, so I don't know why. Don't know why, where it's pulling the pH from, because there's no probe on it right now. So the probe was one of the things that kind of died in the fish barn move. But you can control all the outlets in here. So there's an auto top off. There's a couple of auto top offs here. So for fun. Let me see if I can find the lights. Let's have some fun. So let's turn the lights off for a second. Let's see if these turn the lights off. So you can slide that bar, and it turns off that outlet. And then we pop in here for a second. And then you can program the lights. So basically, they're on at 7. They go off at 2200, which is 10 o'clock. And I know that's a super long photo period, but I like seeing my fish, so I deal with what comes with that. So, and also like for the clownfish breeding stuff I work on, you want to pretty much give them like a summertime atmosphere, or in terms of like the lighting cycle. So that's really one of the things, the reasons I run it that long. I've debated doing like a siesta period, but yeah, I mean a lot of people do 7 hours, and I know I do it long, but it's like, I get up, I get up at 6:15, eat breakfast, whatever, go out here to feed fish, et cetera, et cetera. So, and then I get home, 5 o'clock at night. So, and I like coming out here in the morning, just to kind of inspect everything, make sure everything's on the up and up, nothing's flooded out, nothing's done whatever, whatever can befall your fish room. But yeah, I do quite a bit of time. And then there's a shutdown value too. So if the barn ever got too hot, I set it pretty high. I set it at almost 86 degrees. So this will shut the lights off if it gets 86. So, and that's hooked up to one of the temperature probes. So you can hook all of this up. So, I'm going to ignore that. About 7 hours. So, alright, so let's go ahead here and flip back to another screen. Yeah, you can do logs here too of KH, calcium, magnesium. You know, this is done for a lot of saltwater folks who use this stuff. So, let's see anything else that's in here that's of interest. So, turn the lights off. I think this will turn all the lights off. See how the lights go out behind me? See, you can turn them back on. And you can do this from your phone too. There's an app for it. So, they'll should we come back on in a... Please. That was interesting. Did I just make it angry? Let it figure out what it's doing. All right. So it's one of those things, Kaylee, where like once you set it up at first, then you can, you know, then it kind of runs itself, right? So then it runs the water change. So the water change, for example, it's that one right there. So basically this runs for 2 minutes. So at 1 o'clock in the morning, at 9 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock, and at 10 o'clock, it runs, turns the pumps on. There's a pump downstairs. It turns on the water change, pumps it all through. You know, you can set it to the seconds too. There's a deferred statement that you can write for this, and it'll defer it and then let it go. And you can shorten the time if you want to. So that's another thing. So that's what I use for my auto water change. And the thing I really like, you know, and I know there's no probe on here right now, but like if you had something go wrong with your tank, you can check this and see, oh, you know, my fish are acting strange. So you go through here, you know, hey, the pH, you know, my fish are all dying. What the heck's going on? So you go to your pH. You know, this isn't a significant enough drop, right? But, oh, I went down here, it's at like, pretend this is like 6. It went from 8 to 6. Well, no wonder my fish are all dead. You know, so, you know, it's like, you know, you can watch the trends on here too, if you play around with it enough. So, let's see. Yeah, you can log stuff in here. It tells you how many amps you're using on these. And then you can hook up float switches to it as well. So I use this for my auto top off. So if this float switch switches to open, then it'll turn the water pump on until the float switch goes back to closed. So then you can go, then it'll top off all your salt water for you. So instead of doing, you know, having to like manually top things off if you're running a saltwater tank, you set up an auto top off. That way, you know, there's things can go wrong with it too. Float switches are notorious for sticking on or off, which you can either flood out your house or not fill it up. So. So, you know, the Apex Junior, I think it's like $250. You know, there's some of the add-on stuff. You know, the pH, you've got to buy like an $80 module for it. And, you know, the probe's X number of dollars as well. So I do need to set some more of this back up. Like I said, I did kill the probe when I did the fish barn move. So some of the stuff I got to get, you know, back on the up and up here in terms of the apex. But yeah, you can play around with your. You can really mess with people too. You know, if someone's in your fish room and you can turn the lights on and off. And I think you can set up a camera to this too. I think there's some people who've done that. And Neptune has actually come out too with a alkalinity monitor, so we don't want that. So the yeah, you can get an alkalinity monitor. That's coming out soon, if it's not out already. So it'll automatically test your alkalinity for you, which is pretty cool. But I think it's like $1,400 or something, so it's not cheap. So I'll flip it back to me here. So we're going to shut it down at 10 tonight. Getting a little tired. It's getting late. So I've been doing the, real job's been a little busy, as it always is. So you guys have any last minute questions? So one of these days I should do like a, why you should buy a Neptune Apex if you're a freshwater fish keeper. But like I said, stay tuned for Sunday's video. I think you guys will enjoy that. It is kind of long, but I think you guys will enjoy Sunday's video. It's a little bit different than a lot of the stuff I've done here on the channel. But I collaborated with a pretty good friend of mine from the saltwater world. Talked about some stuff I think is important to both salt and freshwater hobbyists. So take a look. Haley's got no questions, but a good stream. Thanks for sharing the system. Absolutely. I'm not too far from you, so if you ever want to buy an Apex, Haley, maybe I'll come down to Indiana and help you set it up. My sister's actually in Indianapolis, so I was down that way Christmas time. So she's near somewhere called Carmel, which I think is just north of Indianapolis. So pretty interesting. I went to the reef while I was there. So all right. So thanks, 54 Mad Guy 1. So if anyone else doesn't have any questions, I do appreciate you guys coming by. So check out some of the videos. Yep, no problem, Candy, anytime. Check out, I am going to plug, no problem, Haley, anytime. So I am going to plug the Goliad Farms video for that Corey did. Go watch that video. It's awesome stuff. And then as well, check out Haley's channel, JH Aquatics. He was in here earlier. I don't know if he's probably still doing water changes. Check out Lucas. He's got great stuff. So if you ever go to a swap where he's at, definitely check out his stuff. He and Haley have some really great stuff. So yeah, check those guys out on YouTube. If you're not subscribed to them, go ahead and do so. If you're not subscribed here, for whatever reason, please subscribe as well. So with that being said, stay fishy. Keep on breeding. Hands are wet. I've done that many times. My wife will call me from the house, and my hands will be wet, and I'll be trying to slide the phone, and won't be able to slide it. Oh, John's got a question. All right, clownfish and sea anemone 29 gallon. Yep, you can do that. Make sure you invest in a good light. So, and then research the anemones as well. I've not kept a lot of anemones, but I would recommend staying away from the sea bays, anemones, stuff like that. Do the bubble tips. If you can get a hold of it, hold on. We're gonna go into the library again. Let's see if I have it. I do have it here. So if you can find this book somewhere, this is anemone fishes and their sea anemones. So this has a whole bunch of good stuff in here about sea anemones. So it even has something called, I'll flip this over to you. It's called an anatomical key. So it's basically kind of like the choose your own adventure books you read as a kid. So it'll ask you different questions. And you can go through this list, and at the end of it, it'll identify what fish are an enemy you have. So it's a pretty cool little book. It is by Daphne Fountain and Gerald Allen. So, and then I do need to do one last plug again for the MBI Conference. So if you guys are anywhere near Michigan, come check out the Marine Breeding Initiative Workshop. The speakers have not been announced yet, but they are always good. So we've had in the past, the people who bred the yellow tangs, who broke the code for that, who broke the code for the blue tangs. This is Dr. Kevin Barden. So definitely this is worth going to, even if you have to drive a little bit. Yeah, John, make sure you really investigate the light. That's the one thing I'll tell you, especially with the anemones. The anemones are, in a way, are like corals in terms of lighting. So you want to make sure you have a really good light. So this is like I said, this is great stuff. So if you're into any sort of fish breeding at all, this is cool stuff to go see. So, it is kind of amazing how far this has come in the past 10 years. So the first conference we did was literally like how to breed clownfish and like how to build a fish room, how to build the fish barn. So saltwater, it's still to this day, I think, is still the definition of a fish room. For the saltwater folks, it's generally where you put your sump and your protein skimmer, maybe your frag tank and things like that. But this is, this kind of fish room is not seen a lot in saltwater. It's a very different definition. So how to build this kind of fish room, talking about like central air systems and humidity and all that stuff. That was like the first conference. And now we're breeding angelfish, tangs. There's been some butterfly fish that have just come out as well. I think it was the Florida Aquaculture Lab, I believe, that did it. I'll have to go back on Facebook and look for that. But that's something that I'm really passionate about. I don't have the time or skills to pull off these species that are here. I mean, I would like to someday. The closest I've gotten to anything like that is I did have some angelfish spawn in one of my tanks, but I never did collect the eggs. So, that being said, check this out for sure if you guys want to go, and I'll put the link in here again real quick. To get that page. So there is the link to the MBI workshop. So make sure you guys check it out. So that being said, we are going to cut it off here. So stay fishy. As this says, keep on breeding. And we will catch you guys on the next one.